So today I am going to be talking to a very special guest. This person has been a part of my life since as long as I've been alive. He is my bubble buddy, my patron, and most importantly, my father. So let's give a call to Doug Kayser. Oh, wait a minute, this thing isn't working. Well, let me try again.
What? What the hell?
Oh, these things are edible?
There's noise coming out of my phone.
You might be pooping out rare earth minerals later on, but you know, you be you. Anyway, I guess, so what do you do for a living?
I'm a paramedic.
And how'd you get into that business?
Oh boy. You know, when I was a young one,
Yeah?
I always thought, what am I going to do with my life? And I said, you know, there's always going to be people, and people are always going to be sick, and people are always going to need help. So I said I was going to do something in healthcare.
All right.
Kind of stumbled into the paramedicine though. You know, I kind of started out in little nursing, and then that wasn't quite for me. I did do home care for a while. I did like that. Going into people's homes was cool. Everybody had a story. Well, it's kind of funny because you know, you go into people's homes, care for them, and you always think, oh, you kind of, everybody had a story. There's something interesting in their life, no matter what, and it was fun to hear that. So I think it's a way of passage. So that was cool.
Yeah. So how did you feel your first year as being a paramedic? What was that like?
That's fun. There's always the adrenaline rush, and you know, you never know exactly what you're going to get when you show up, and then a lot of times when you show up is always going to be something a little different than what the dispatcher had called you out on. But yeah, and then you go to the same call over and over. Say the example of a chest pain. One of the benefits of, you know, what I like about paramedicine is that you go to that 10 times over and over, and it's always going to be something different environment, different patient, different presentation. That was the fun part about it.
Were you like worried at all going in?
Oh, sure. Depending on the type of call. With trauma, it's load and go. You want to go. It's very quick and fast, and if you have a bunch of patients or something that slows you down, like they're trapped, or then there's more anxiety because you know you want to minimize the amount of time that you're on the scene. So, yeah.
So how long did you feel like that it took for you to get like into the swing of things as a paramedic?
I'm still getting into the swing of things. No, you learn. If you stop learning, then you got trouble. But you get more comfortable at over. You gain confidence because you see stuff over and over, and it's like it becomes more predictable. But there's still always that element of unpredictability because it's different every call you go on. And some of them are really interesting. I mean, and then some of them are, you know, they can be sad. But one of the other things I like about paramedicine is like, I always saw the patient, right? You know, you're evaluating them, and it's like, some patients like, you want to emulate, you're like, oh yeah, I want to be this guy when I'm older. And some of them like, I do not want to be this guy. So you think, you don't want to end up in the position that they're in. So, I mean, you've seen people in the vulnerable times. They're calling you, probably, you know, it's the worst day of their life. Why would you want to call an ambulance? Who wants an ambulance at their house? Nobody. But so they're asking for help. So
All right.
that's why I'm reading your phone.
You know, that's all right. It's all right. You need, you know,
Nutrients.
everything a growing boy needs is in
Potassium.
Yeah, except yeah. So now you're not strictly just a on the boots paramedic now. Now you're in sort of a leadership position.
Well, this is true.
Can you elaborate more on that?
It's like taking care of children. It's like raising a family.
So now that you're in this sort of different position, how do you feel about your work when you were just starting out? Would a young, say you have a time travel machine and a young Doug Kayser comes in to walks in and asks you for a job, would you hire him?
Oh, of course, it was Joe Kaiser, of course. No, you bring up a good point because you know that that's a stepping stone. I mean, they're starting their lives. They're going into this healthcare. They're new, and they want to, establish their role. And different people present in different ways. Some are overconfident and just trying to compensate for their, their uneasiness with the. But others are, very. I mean, that's the person you look for. I mean, we always. I mean, this is kind of our mantra with kindness, compassion, and intuition. The general public take for granted your skills, but they expect you to be able to start that IV, defibrillate them, that kind of stuff, the technical skills. But what really makes an impact, as long as you can do those, is how you treat them. Everybody wants to be treated with kindness. And that's what they remember. And if for whatever reason, you're not going to please everybody all the time because, like I say, we get a variety of patients. Some are under the influence, some are, have some mind-altering substances, and they have a variety of problems. We send out customer surveys, whether you transport them or not, and that's one of the things that and most of them they're overwhelmingly positive. But you get that, 1-2% that, hey, I didn't like so-and-so because, it's like, they didn't feel like they were. A lot of times it is, just how it's perceived in the situation. But I think I need a fresh phone.
Do you need a fresh phone? Well, here, let me get you sorted out. Let me get you sorted out. All right. Catch.
All right.
Oh, hand-eye coordination there. Okay. So, in broad strokes, how has your year, this past year, how's your work life been?
So in relationship to COVID times?
Yes.
Well, it's funny because initially when I first came out, everybody was scared. But now it's just like any other disease now. It's like, with time we figured out how to deal with it and the proper precautions. It was kind of nice that we're in the Midwestern states because obviously the coast took the brunt of it first, and we learned from that. But once it hit here, it was like, people were paranoid. But we figured out as long as you follow the precautions, put on your proper PPE, you're going to be fine.
There's some coordination with first responders about dealing with these sort of types of threats. Can you elaborate on how sort of healthcare and government is sort of intertwined?
Well, it's obviously in the benefit of government to, we make up the government to have their people be well. So there is some coordination. Initially it was a little rough. I mean, it was pretty hodgepodge, but it's become more streamlined over time. So yeah, and then of course a lot of money went toward it. Some of the government money a lot of that we used to purchase a trailer that's used for vaccination shots. So that's a benefit, and that's in coordination with public health. So.
And what are some ways that that you've utilized this help, so it can sort of not just help with you in this moment right now, but in the future?
For example, if we use the example of the trailer, that can be used for a multitude of different things. But it's set up to, you could, right now we're using it as a vaccination center, but it's got private rooms. You can use it for an exam. It's a mobile exam room. You can bring it anywhere, at large events. So.
And you have been vaccinated. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? What was that like?
Yeah, no, it was great. We got vaccinated right away because we're frontline workers. I mean, it was in December. As soon as they came out, it was like the next week. That was pretty impressive. In that trailer I was talking about. So the vaccination is simple. I mean, and they're being overly cautious. But 2 shots. Well, depending of the brand of vaccine you get now, with the newer one, the J&J, it's a single shot. But the other 2 are 2 shots. And first one is just like a regular flu shot. Arm felt a little sore. Second one, I felt a little milder, a little sore, but it was nothing. I mean, I went to bed early, woke up the next day, and it was just fine.
And what can and can't you do with the vaccination? Like, what do you still have to be worried about?
Oh, now that I have been vaccinated, well, it's still the variants. They've got the different variants, and it's not proven that these will stop the variants, but people are thinking that it probably will, but time will tell.
Of course, because and we're still learning about this.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone's learning on their feet.
Right.
That'll be the end shot. You run multiple marathon races. What is that like? What is that like to run a marathon?
You are just really.
Yeah, these were my backup questions in case something.
Yeah. What about them?
Well, what's it like? What's it like on your body? Like, once you finished a marathon, what did it feel like?
You're tired.
Yeah. Well, elaborate more on that.
You're really tired.
So, at what point?
All right, here's a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, I did a triathlon once. Huh. My dad, on a whim, I said, "Hey, Dad, you want to be my pit crew?" He goes, "Sure, why not?" And he came, and what was he doing? He thought he was gonna, wax the car. He bought clean equipment. It was funny. It was a nice day. Went from Faribault to Austin. Of course, it's a marathon. It's a 112-mile bike and a 2.4-mile swim. So at the end of that, I was so tired. I just hadn't reserved a hotel room or anything. At the end of it, Dad was looking for a place to stay that night, and I had fallen into sleep to the car, and he didn't. I obviously couldn't wake me up. He just carried me into the hotel. The next morning, I'm going, "Where am I?" And he explained the whole story. That's how tired I was.
All right. All right. What's your favorite child? No, you don't have to answer that. But
that one in Oklahoma.
I always suspected. No, like what's your
Bobby?
Yeah. Oh, Billy Bob. What have you learned about yourself when you became a father? Like,
oh my,
yeah,
you get really deep.
Sure.
What have I learned being a father?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's life altering. I mean, that's so now you're, before that it's just you. It's like, of course, then your mother, but then you add another person in there. So you're taking care of another person that's young, that's fragile, and so you're trying to. Initially, you're just taking care of their basic needs, but then you want them to have a successful life. So you want to be a role model to them, and just teach them the ways of the world so they can be successful themselves.
Well, thank you for having me. I hope you enjoyed your bananas.
I know. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. You're a real hostage interviewee. But yeah, I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you soon because we live in the same house.
You as well. I look forward to seeing you.
All right. Adios.